Geek Tank Radio, News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. Today, we're joining you from the 34th Annual Cooper Young Festival, where Allan Gilbreth has set up his unlicensed food truck, selling his signature deep-fried octopus on a stick. And those things are going fast.
They are.
Partly for shock value, partly for self-defense, and partly just,
Well, look at this way, Joe.
There's a weird crowd here anyway. It fits right in.
I like food that will reach out and grab your attention.
Okay. Anyway, and once again, Brandon is horrified and just sort of disgusted.
I'm basking in the Memphis of it all.
Okay. Anyway, welcome to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max back at the studio. And as you can hear, we're here once again. What a difference a year makes. Last year, we were here in the exact same spot. I'd say within 5 feet of where we were last year.
Yes.
However, last year, we had electrical cords trying to avoid getting washed away by the water, avoiding electrocution, we had technical challenges. This year, it's
we had to go climb a building last year.
We were climbing buildings, and then we were, 30 seconds before going to air, we were losing signal. So, but it's a smooth operation, and the weather could not be better, man. It is rocking over here.
Memphis, 2 times a year, will rival anywhere else on the planet. And you get it right in the middle of your spring and right in your fall season. And I honestly will put the Mid-South up against anybody.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd call it fall weather today, but, it's...
Well, it's semi, it's kind of late spring, early fall weather.
I was going to say...
warm, but nice.
It's way cooler than it was this time last week.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, so we're here at the Cooper Young Festival. We hope you'll show up. We're at the corner of Cooper and Young, and we're about 10 feet or 15 feet away from the gazebo, if you know where that is. You can throw a rock and hit us, but... don't do that, of course.
Please don't.
Yeah.
But we're going to be here pretty much most of the day. I do want to take care of some business before we get to the show. We've got a street team today of cosplayers promoting the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, which is right around the corner, November 18th through 20th.
Right.
Harley Quinn is right behind me. She's tearing it up. We got Savannah and Allie here, and we're going to get several cosplayers promoting, because today only, if you want to order your tickets online for the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, a 3-day pass is only $30, Brandon. Instead of $40.
You're cutting into my profits there, Joe.
That's not a bad deal. I mean,
that's a great deal.
Only today. Go to
averages out to $10 a day.
Go to memphiscfc.com, or you can Google Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. Do that. And also, we want to say, we can't give you the specifics, but it's crucial that you go to Geek Tank Radio's Facebook page and follow the developments. You should follow us anyway, because in a week or two we have some pretty major announcements, and they're all good and they're all exciting.
I love how you want to tease it now.
Yeah. Okay, well, just remember, go to Facebook and look up Geek Tank Radio.
Right. So that's important. Yeah. And, of course, D23 happened,
It really did. And while there's a lot of people saying that it was a very disappointing show.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of getting
railed on. People always say that, because Star Wars fans hate Star Wars.
This has nothing to do with Star Wars fans. This has to do with Disney fans who are saying it was a little lackluster compared to last year.
Okay.
But there's still great announcements coming out of it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll unpack that a little bit, and one of the coolest things that came out of that was the Tales of the Jedi trailer, which, man, of any of the projects I've seen coming up, that one and Andor look great, Yeah. And then there was a little sleeper thing, a little bizarre trailer that came out that has us all intrigued. It's simply called 5/25/77, which any geek would know. Wait a minute, that sounds like the day Star Wars first came out, right? Am I wrong, Brandon?
It is not wrong.
It's not about Star Wars, though, however. Or is it? It's either going to be a masterpiece or a train wreck.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's about.
Oh, no, it's going to be a train wreck, but we're all going to go see it anyway.
I'd say, it can be a train wreck bad that it is a masterpiece of a train wreck.
Yeah. So we're going to discuss that a little bit. But Brandon, you wanted, let's face it, after the last couple weeks, we need some Memphis positivity.
We're just going to be honest. We've been taking a beating in this city, and this city is so much more than just statistics.
Right.
And one of the greatest things about this city is going on today here in the Cooper Young area.
Sure.
And that's the Cooper Young Festival. And now I know you might be saying, man, my town's got festivals too. You don't have this.
No.
I don't care how much you think you have this. You don't have this.
I've lived at a lot of places.
Yeah.
I thought that somewhere in one of the rankings, Cooper Young was voted one of the top 10 neighborhoods in the country, right?
Yes.
If you're talking a neighbor, this is
repeatedly.
Because I'm here throughout the year. Young Avenue Deli. I'll say it from the rooftops. It's one of my favorite places to get lunch and to eat. And you come here, it feels like a very unique neighborhood.
I mean, you think about this area in general. We've got Young Avenue Deli, we've got Milan, we've got all those pieces. That's just talking about the food. We also have First Congo, which does a lot of outreach, and in general, that's also where they used to do a farmers market on the weekend. I haven't been out here so long on a weekend, but that's one of the best, full-on homegrown farmers market. You go down, a little ways, you run into Nerd Alert,
right.
which is. If you've ever been into a classic arcade, they've got that in the back. But in the front, they sell curiosities and horror merchandise.
It's pretty unique stuff. It's stuff you don't find at a big box store.
You know that you've made it into the Cooper Young area because as you go under a little overpass, it's decorated.
Yes.
Right.
It's a
cute
very
little
unique
choo-choo
neighborhood.
train.
And let's not forget, you got Goner Records. You have these little niche shops that somehow have stuck around. And, of course, we've got the I don't know if we can say it on the air, but there was that we became world famous for Beehole Gate about 6 years ago. That happened a stone's throw from here.
Really, it did. And I'll tell you,
Joe, the things
and they still have the T-shirts
in your mind.
And as I'll go ahead and put it out there. As someone who's actually eaten at that vegan cafe, and I'm a carnivore, I'm a natural-born carnivore. Their food is really good.
Oh no, it's great, and it's a lot of personnel. And it's a family-run business, which is what got them into trouble. But it's like it's a lot of fun. Cooper Young is cool. If there's people that sometimes you live in a town and you just don't go to things. When I lived in San Diego, I never made it to the San Diego Zoo.
Right.
I've still never done a tour of Graceland. I hate to
You've
admit
never done a tour of Graceland?
No, but I would say if you've never been to the Cooper Young Festival, then you should get over here, man. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So.
But you're absolutely right. There's so many people do not take advantage of the things in their own town because they're like, that's local. I'll get to that. I'll get to that.
Yeah.
I've got a good story out of New York. Actually, my wife is from Long Island. And she took me up there to my first trip to New York and wanted to give me a tour of the city. And there was a guy on the tour with us who'd lived in New York City for his entire life.
Yeah.
Had never been to the Empire State Building.
Sure.
Never been to the Statue of Liberty. And he was going along the tour with us.
Right.
And I can't see having things like this and not taking advantage of them. And Cooper Young is one of my favorite things that this city does.
Well, and there's a lot of energy here because it's fun. I'm always intrigued by all the logistics. I've actually set up here as a vendor 12 years ago or something. And you get in, it's like mobilizing an army. You get in, they're coordinating the all of the tent set up, everything, and then you do the show, and then you collapse it all within about 12 hours. It's pretty exciting. If it's raining, that makes it even more interesting. So,
I mean, you guys, you mentioned it before and mentioned it earlier when we were on Tool Talk. You guys having to climb roofs in order to plug things in last year was a little crazy, especially when it's trying to rain on you.
But you know what? That creates an energy that you can't duplicate. When you have this certain sense of urgency, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's just like a convention. It's going to happen, whatever snafus there are, whatever, it's going to happen, and sometimes that's what adds to the mystique and to the stories.
The one thing you can always say about things like Cooper Young, or like next week we've got the Memphis Comic Expo that I'll be at.
Right. We'll be there.
When things go wrong, you've got a story.
Well, that's the thing. You don't want flawless. You want that behind-the-scenes drama, and you want the special whatever, because that's when you overcome challenges. And like you said, for years on end, you'll have stories. So, I mean, when did we, how have we ever forgotten the time the ballroom flooded at the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention in 2015?
It smelled
soaked
like
the carpet.
It smelled like a turtle farm in there.
Yeah, I mean, so. I don't know what a turtle farm smells like.
That's the only way to describe how that Southeast Ballroom smelled. I mean, it just did.
Having been on a turtle farm, you are correct. And I was looking for turtles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, you guys, another Memphis highlight that we should be following. I don't know what are the odds we could make this happen, but, The Rock is focused on, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is now focused on Memphis again because they're working on is it a mini-series or something? It's about his early wrestling days, and he's here in town. Jerry Lawler's been having dinner with him, and he's got Memphis roots in a sense.
Well, his daddy definitely does because I remember seeing him at the Memphis Coliseum.
Rocky Maivia.
Oh, okay.
Man, Rocky Johnson.
And
watching him throw down.
You might have sat next to Dwayne The Rock Johnson when he was a kid.
I'm trying
probably.
to think of, did I sit next to a cute little kid with fuzzy hair?
That's about 8 feet tall.
So, back then he wouldn't have been.
He was a little bitty when he was growing up. But, no, I mean, he's had that show on NBC, Young Rock, and they did some Memphis wrestling stuff on this last season.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that has sparked them getting the documentary going on all that. It's just you don't ever really consider how many famous people have a root connection to Memphis.
Right.
And,
I want to say this because I've lived in a lot of places. I know you guys have too, and it's basically my observation about Memphis, because I'm going to be honest, I moved to Memphis from San Diego, 6 blocks from the beach. You've heard me talk about it till whatever. But it was a very difficult adjustment to leave the ocean, to leave the beautiful climate, the beautiful scenery, and then, come to a place with mosquitoes and all the other. And yet Memphis has really grown on me. I think one of the features I love the most is there is nothing cookie cutter about this city. You go to some cities, they kind of all look alike. They have the same development. There's the Midtown setup. There's the this. You go to Memphis and you get that, but it's all got a certain flair that you really can't duplicate anywhere.
That's true.
I mean,
the downtown area is one thing. The Arts District. It all comes together to form this city that it takes its lumps, but nothing stops Memphis.
No. Yeah. No.
We had earlier this morning. You had Jay Hill on Tool Talk, and he talks about the Big M. And the truth is whenever I'm coming home and I get to the bridge, when I'm coming back from out west, there's that moment where you see that Big M, and you just you feel good again.
Right. Yeah. It's
I can't breathe here.
It's funny too how much tourism we get. Because, I would think, okay, well, people want to go to Hawaii or they want to go to, I don't know, Florida or something. And yet, man, people come to this town.
Yeah.
So.
Well, people are interested in the home of the blues.
Right.
The people are interested in, believe it or not, a culinary hotspot.
Well,
Memphis has got some serious food. If you come visit for a month, we absolutely promise you about 6 pounds.
Easy.
Because
Allan's off his game. It took him 15 minutes to get to the food reference.
Well,
I was just leaning back and letting you guys run with it.
Okay.
That and the octopus had to go back in the tank. But,
okay.
You got to watch. You got to keep the food fresh. So, but I will throw in. We're sitting right here in Cooper Young, and this is what is also known as an incubator area. So, if you've got a crazy idea for a business, you're not going to go out to the big mall someplace where real estate is going to be $40 a foot.
Right.
You're going to come to an older part of town like this, which has kind of got the cool, funky neighborhood vibe, and you're going to rent a place for what you can afford.
Right.
And welcome to the innovation.
Right.
Because this is where you get that cool new restaurant nobody else has tried. This is where you get some crazy guy buying up old video games and having a warehouse full of them. This is where you get a vinyl press. You can actually make a record and actually get your own vinyl pressed down here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw them earlier.
So welcome to an incubator neighborhood where, honestly, that truly innovative business you've never seen before is going to exist and is going to thrive.
Well, FedEx. I mean, who would have thought? It's easy to take FedEx for granted. That was a pretty radical idea when it started.
Well, we were also the birthplace of the Holiday Inns, right down on Summer Avenue.
Yep.
And was the headquarters for 30 some odd years.
And not to poke a sore subject, but why aren't we the home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I mean, it seems to me
honestly
we should be. Yeah.
Well, we've got Beale Street, and everybody knows where to come.
But Cleveland needed something. Nobody wanted to go to Cleveland.
We can share.
We love you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You're always welcome down here. We'll feed you barbecue.
Yeah. But
will we feed you barbecue?
And I mean that's one of those things that there are people from all over this country who come to Memphis. They do a convention. They do anything like that. And Allan will go, hey, let me feed you. And he'll bring them Central Barbecue. And we hear about it from them. It's like, I remember when you brought me this. And this is like 3 years later, and they're still craving that barbecue.
They're making videos and blogs
about it. I have
actually
had to mail Memphis barbecue sauce to the UK.
Yeah.
I kid you not. I cannot make this up. A friend of mine visiting, I took them to a local barbecue place. Their mind was utterly blown, and like 6 months later, I get the phone call.
Right.
Just basically, we don't care what the shipping is. We need 2 bottles of.
And what's great is that there are certain locations here in town where you go in there and you're like, all right, I need like two slabs of ribs, FedEx 2, and they will FedEx it from the restaurant.
Yes.
To whatever address you give.
Okay, food dude. Let's also.
Hey, this is a big man. This is a big part of Memphis.
Okay,
I'll throw in one more aspect to Memphis.
Good.
We are also America's distribution center.
Well, we're in the middle of the country.
We have I-40 and I-55 right here, up and down, right down the middle, and all the way across the country, right here in this one city.
Hey, we haven't even painted a picture because there's probably a lot of people that have never been to the Cooper Young Fest. If you can imagine, it's like a T shape. The intersection of Cooper and Young, it fans out. I want to say overall it's about 8 blocks one way. It's probably another 6 or 7 blocks the other way, forming a T. We're right at the center of that T, and they have like 400 vendors, and these aren't vendors, people. They have vendors, but they have artists that are selling one-of-a-kind pieces of art, and it's not just painting. It's every type of art and craft, and so you talk about a great place to jumpstart your Christmas shopping.
Yeah,
there's activities, there's music, there's our sister station 98.1 The Max is set up right down the street in front of the music stage.
They're literally like they're asymmetrical to us.
Yeah. And as the day goes by, it's interesting where the attention shifts. Because right now, I would call this shopping. Right now, everybody's shopping. Yeah. Soon, they're going to all be hunkering in for lunch and everything. And all the restaurants are open,
Yeah.
So.
And that's not even to cast shade on the fact that there's at least 80 food vendors within smelling distance.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to wait in line forever for food around here. So, but also you can bring the kids. They have a whole kids area to play. But
and your pets, as long as your pets are non-aggressive, they're more than welcome down here.
And there's a lot of people that travel to get here. There's a lot of I know vendors as far as California that come to the Cooper Young Festival.
We met a guy earlier from Jackson who isn't here to vend.
Yeah.
He was just here.
Yep. Yeah, he's just here. So, I mean, it is, people probably make their travel plans around this time. So, if you get down here, you might get a free wet towel from Joe Birch. He's over here giving out those cooling towels from WMC. They, maybe The Rock will show up. I can't say.
You never know.
He's hanging out with Jerry Lawler these days.
Well, I've already seen 2 or 3 of our Mid-South celebrities sneak by with the hat on and the sunglasses.
Sure.
I'm not going to tell anybody who they were, but they have wandered by
Allan
the tent.
knows so many people he can't remember all their names.
Well, Craig Brewer, if you're out there, we'll throw you on the board,
I might have seen somebody that looked remarkably like him.
Yeah. But anyway, hey, and also just a reminder, we're set up here and we are promoting pretty heavily the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. Today only, a 3-day pass is only $30. You can't beat that. So we've got our cosplayer team.
And honestly, I'll take submissions for Bad Geek Confessions, too.
Oh, yeah.
We read those on the air. You have a chance to win a free 3-day pass to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention.
Yeah. So check it out. Go to memphiscfc.com, and you can get your tickets there, get more information. Adasa, she's from the movie Encanto. She's going to be she's going to be our guest of honor. So, anyway, we're having a lot of fun out here. Max, I'm sure you're enjoying life, right?
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
a
I
blast.
can't complain. You guys aren't here.
Okay.
I was like, dude is stretched out on the counter. He's got his feet up.
Yeah, we do make him work when he's there.
Yeah.
He's got his lunch sitting in your chair. So, you know.
And have you ever noticed there's always this disgruntled expression on his face when you come back the next week and you walk into the studio?
It's like
It's
it's kind of like what a cat does to their owner and everything after a long trip.
Yeah. So anyway, get down here. We're at the Cooper Young Festival, right at the corner of Cooper and Young, about 15 feet away from the gazebo. So check it out. It's a lot of fun, and we're going to be coming back though and talking about D23. We got a lot to talk about: Disney, Star Wars, a lot of goodies. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio here at News Talk 98.9 The Roar of Memphis. We'll be right back.
Geek Tank Radio.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
That's how we do it here at Geek Tank. I mean, it's just an average segment for us. So, anyway, welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And, of course, you can hear the ambiance, I'm sure. You can probably hear the music in the background. We're here live at the Cooper Young Fest, one of our favorite events of the year. Basically, you get in, you get out. It's a one-day event. No funny business. They set up camp. By midnight tonight, you'll never know anything even happened here. It's like the leave no trace deal.
It's like my favorite expression. It is a hit, stick, and move.
Yeah,
there you go.
Hit, stick, and move. It is. If you've never been here before, it is a really great place to do some shopping, especially if you want to get a jump start on your Christmas shop. You're going to get one-of-a-kind items. You get to meet the artists who made the items. It's very cool. So, but also it's just a lot of fun. It's a party. It's music. It's got, it's family friendly. The kids are here and everything. So it's a lot of fun. We're right at the corner of Cooper and Young, about 15 feet away from the gazebo. So we'll be here for most of the day, right?
Allan's getting bombarded with fans.
Yeah, I love how, okay, anyway, I'm not going to
What? People like food, dude. What?
Yeah. Well, I've got a little sign here, and it says, sorry, we can't talk. We're on the air. But
wasn't
people
talking
just
to
think
them.
that's more reason to just keep
Well, the thing is, then Allan goes, hey, come here.
Yeah.
It's like, he's
Anyway.
doing it to undermine you, Joe.
But
Fight.
before we talk about D23 and Star Wars and everything else, I just want to remind everybody that if you, we've got a street team that's going to be here shortly. Well, we've got a few cosplayers here already. They're going to be giving out postcards. They're promoting the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, and that's a lot of fun for a
Catch
photo
him for
op.
photo ops.
But also, today only, if you want to order a 3-day pass to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, it's only $3, which there's some
It's
conventions.
$30, Joe.
30, Joe.
30 bucks. Sorry,
30.
$30. There's conventions where
Somebody's going to
a
show up with
one-day
that
a
clip.
one-day pass is more than $30. So
Right.
so it's a really, you can't say no to this deal. So we want to incentivize people to get it. Our guest of honor this year is Dasa. She's a hip-hop artist who's also the voice actress that plays Dolores from that hugely successful movie Encanto and that earworm of the century, We Don't Talk About Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno,
She sings
man.
that, too. And I know it's going to be all weekend.
So-
We're just going to be hearing that. So,
And just to give you an idea of how insane that song is for me, we've got these two kids. They're my wife's best friend's children. They showed up at the house this morning because my wife's watching them, and that was the first thing. He's like, "Can we watch Bruno?"
gosh.
That's how they refer
That's
to it.
not even the name of the movie anymore.
No, it's
we want to see Bruno.
But they
Right.
watch it every time they're over at the house.
So if you want to meet her, apparently she's just a really sweet lady, too. Like, she's very good with the fans. Everybody loves her. So
Yeah.
the kids, and she dresses in character, so the kids will meet Dolores.
oh,
Right.
boy.
Check it out. Go to memphiscfc.com, and if you got questions, you can contact us that way as well. So, all right. Well, Brandon, D23 happened. Well, I mean,
It's
I
on.
guess everybody knows what it is, but that's Disney's big yearly
Right.
reason of, hey, we don't need to go to Comic-Con
We don't have to
anymore.
go to
We're doing our own
Comic-Con. We're
thing.
going to bring you a bunch of really cool stuff to D23. And I'm a little – all right, I talked about people being a little disappointed, about it. And that all stems from the fact that they showed a lot of exclusive stuff that will never be shown anywhere else.
Uh-huh.
And they didn't take the advantage of streaming it live on Disney Plus.
Right.
We've all bought our Disney Plus passes, but they were giving Disney Plus Day the day beforehand where you could get a month of Disney Plus for $1.99.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then they didn't stream this stuff on there like everybody was thinking they were. But they showed exclusive new trailers for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Right.
New stuff from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. A ton of Marvel stuff. But one of the groups, though, that did a presentation who did not skimp on the excitement was the Star Wars panel.
Right.
They brought us stuff about Andor. They brought us stuff about The Acolyte. They brought us stuff about, Tales from the Jedi, Ahsoka. They dropped the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. I, being a Star Wars fan who will watch anything Star Wars related, and with a big old, 5-year-old smile on my face, was basically taking Joe's position. My ears were up and my tail was wagging.
That's not my position, but go ahead.
According to Allan, that's the position you're always in.
Yeah.
I was about to say
that's when he wants to get me mad. But yeah.
I was say you're the first guy I know that sat around watching Ewoks grooming because you were just in. You're totally into the environment.
Dude, watching Brody shave his back hair was not an Ewok grooming video.
Okay. Anyway, well, hey guys. So basically, I was mostly personally interested in the Star Wars news because I think it's the most imminent. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
And so with Andor being basically next week.
Right,
Yes.
right.
And as you guys know, I said this the day it came out. If you remember, I with Rogue One, that was borderline I won't say it's my favorite because I still have the original trilogy, but it's definitely my favorite Disney Star Wars,
movie.
and it's outstanding. I love Rogue One, and it looks like we're keeping the texture in Andor of that. I hope they do. I mean, I don't know why they would. Is Gareth Edwards involved in this?
I'm not exactly sure. I haven't really paid a whole lot of attention. I want to go in as blind as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Because I want to be.
I kind of do too.
My excitement's already peaked for it. What I love about it is that they didn't go with the what are they calling it? Motion craft.
Yes.
That they do on like they did with Obi-Wan and they did with the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. They're going a different direction with the production, and you can tell.
It looks pretty. Yeah, it looks pretty.
Each approach they take sets a vibe for that production.
No. Sadly, they've already told us it's only going to be 2 seasons long, which I guess, give us exactly what we want and get out before you overstay your welcome.
I don't mind 2 seasons. I just want to hear a story, then move on.
I'm kind of excited to see how Cassian gets to where he was because he seems very bright-eyed in the beginning of this trailer.
Right.
And everything. We met Cassian Andor in Rogue One, and I know a lot of people are going to yell at me for this. He's one of the least likable characters in the whole thing.
Right.
Because he's
worn out.
You understand his mission.
Yeah.
You agree with his mission. But the way he goes about it, you don't necessarily feel is a hero.
Shooting his own guys and stuff.
Right.
So, yeah.
So we're going to get to see how he gets to that point. This takes place 5 years before Rogue One.
Yeah.
And we get to see how he comes into that mindset.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. I'm also excited to see Mon Mothma, helping set up the rebellion.
Because it's such a fascinating era, and I that's what's so great about the Disney Star Wars. I just want to say one thing because I'm still, I surf around YouTube. I still see these guys who have made a career ever since The Last Jedi they call it Disney Star Wars, and they basically say it all stinks. I'm like, there's so much of a variety.
Yeah.
Disney Star Wars is what gave us Ahsoka, so shut up.
And it's like,
I don't want to hear it. I don't like everything they offer, but most of it's really
the guys
good.
out there complaining about Disney Star Wars, but then they turn into mad kids excited in the candy shop when you see something new about the Mandalorian.
Right.
And it's like, guys, here. This is going to sound rude. Stop watching their videos. They're making money over your outrage. Just go be outraged in the woods.
Or learn to be outraged yourself instead of letting somebody tell you. But anyway, but with Andor, there's so many peripheral characters, and there's so many,
we get more Saw Gerrera.
We get to see Saw Gerrera before he's I mean, is he? Has he lost his legs and everything yet?
I don't know how far into the into the crazies he is at this point.
Yeah.
But this is definitely post Clone Wars Saw Gerrera.
Right.
Post, it's like. So I'm excited to see how that goes too. I mean, it's one of those shows that steps outside of the norm, and let's just be completely honest. Rogue One is the most war movie.
Yes,
of
it's
Star
a
Wars.
war from Star. Yeah, exactly. And I like how it's the beginning of a rebellion. They said this is what a rebellion looks like. It's probably going to be gritty. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not squeaky clean. Nothing about it is. So, but I will say this. I would like to at least get a little glimpse of Jyn Erso because she's one of my favorite characters, and I don't want them to do like a bait and switch where it suddenly turns into the Princess Leia show instead of Kenobi. But I would like to see something of her early days because she's pretty awesome.
I don't. If you want to involve Galen a little bit, that's fine. I don't want to see Jen at all.
Oh,
because
do.
You got to remember that from the moment, what was it? She was 8 years old when Saw Gerrera took her in.
Right.
But she was 12 when she went off on her own away from him.
Yeah.
This would have fallen into that time where she's not there, when she's off doing her own thing.
Yeah.
And I would rather not see what it is she's doing during that time, because that keeps them from coming back later on and giving me a Jyn Erso movie.
Okay, I see your
Jyn Erso cartoon or something like that.
I don't know.
Because she is my favorite character from Rogue One outside of K2SO.
Well, he steals every scene he's in, so it's like so.
It's Allan Tudyk. Allan Tudyk is a national treasure.
Yeah. So we're going to definitely
so many ways.
We're definitely going to be weighing in on Andor, but Brandon, we also got something that really got me excited. It was the Tales of the Jedi. It's in the vein of Clone Wars in terms of its style, but it's filling in little gaps, and especially we see Baby Ahsoka. We see Count
Dooku as he's preparing to become Darth Tyrannus, basically.
A young Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, I mean, these are things that I am like super excited about.
Do you know what era? I'm trying to think. Oh, well, so no, these are individual stories, right? These are the whole one-offs.
I think they're it's like I think they're just singular episodes. Or, if nothing else, less than only 2 episodes apiece.
Yeah.
Because I've heard that there's more than one.
Okay.
But that, again, don't quote me on that because that's internet rumor.
Right. And the thing about it is, I don't recognize. I'm not up on all the novels, so maybe some of this was covered in the books. But it seems to be they're definitely tapping into things we've never seen on film or on the shows or anything like that.
There have been a few people who've said that it looks like they're rewriting some of the history, and this is stuff that has shown up in recent novels that are definitely canon. And I'm just like, are we sure they're rewriting it, or are we just seeing it from a different point of view?
Right. Yeah, a lot of people get into that. It's like, well, they changed Count Dooku's haircut. They're rewriting canon,
No, wait. People can have more than one haircut, not you
right.
and I.
Right.
But, people can have more than one haircut here, guys, really.
Yeah. So we've seen that. But, and there's quite a bit more, and, we didn't even, but maybe we'll have to tap into Marvel shortly. But I wanted to just mention something, if we want to circle back. But this trailer came out, and it simply said 5-25-77. And at first I said, oh, okay. And then I said, wait a minute. That sounds familiar.
Right.
I know that date. Not everybody maybe would, but, Brandon, this is not a Disney thing. This is not a Star Wars. But it's obviously referencing it. But this is a trippy trailer.
Yeah.
Well, it's a point in time kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what we're basically getting is that John Francis Daley, who is a very prolific writer and producer of movies, he does comedic vein stuff. He was also he's an actor. He was on Bones as Dr. Sweets.
Right.
He was on Freaks and Geeks,
yes,
which is it's a great show if you haven't ever watched it. But he is playing a character who basically has wanted to make movies since he was little.
Right.
And he gets inspired by something that's coming up. And he is basically the first true, full-on Star Wars fan.
He was a Star Wars fanatic before it even... Well, I mean, it shows him in line. He's at the movies like, is Star Wars going to be here? And before any of us knew what Star Wars was going to become.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon was born that year. He's exactly as old as Star Wars. So, but Allan, you and I were in there.
I got news for you, dude.
Kid,
I remember.
Allan was retired when Star Wars came out.
Yeah.
I remember seeing, all right, friends of mine in England, family members, had sent pictures of this, as they lovingly put it, silly little movie that was at the local theater setup.
Oh, did they get it first?
Well, they didn't get it first. They actually saw part of the movie being shot there on the sound stages.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's this great big guy walking around in a fur suit.
Right.
And there's this, lovely gold-looking gentleman.
Yeah.
And so I saw pictures of it.
Right.
So I knew what Chewbacca looked like before the movie came out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but nobody knew what a worldwide cultural phenomenon it was.
I just knew I wanted to see the giant walking Pekingese.
It's like, why is there a Yeti and a robot?
So this movie, but what's interesting, though, is this movie looks like it's a young guy that's inspired to be a filmmaker. No money. He's making these cheapo things. But there's voiceover narration that sure sounds an awful lot to me like they're quoting George Lucas. Like, am I wrong?
No, it sounds exactly like that. I was sitting there and I was watching it, and there's a moment where he's kind of sitting down, and there's an older guy in front of him, an adult compared to him, who is saying all this stuff, and I'm like going, is he actually talking to George Lucas, or is he imagining this?
That because what I'm wondering is how they thread the needle, like how much Star Wars versus Disney's about to come.
There's a lot of fair use. You won't see anything where there's going to be stormtrooper armor.
Okay.
But unless it's like the El Cheapo that people wear to because there were guys who would show up dressed like characters at the cardboard.
Right. Yeah. So as we said, that masterpiece because it looks very stylized,
it's
very
trippy,
artsy, or it's just going to be a big mess and whatever.
And it doesn't matter.
Either way, it's going to be good.
We're going to see it either way.
Yeah, Brandon and I'll be there.
So, okay, Brandon, now D23, let's wrap up because we've got Marvel news. And what did we learn?
We saw trailers for Secret Invasion.
Yes.
Which is going to be a great new Disney Plus series starring Sam Jackson and Don Cheadle. And,
who else is
Colby Smothers, who plays she plays Maria Hill. There's characters that are coming out of the woodwork that are people you'll recognize who are dealing with a Skrull invasion. Because so far all we've really seen are kind of the refugee Skrulls.
Right.
We haven't seen the
nefarious guys.
We haven't seen the nefarious faction that are trying to take over the world. And we're going to get to see that here.
Okay, the thing that struck me about the trailer, and I hope we don't, I don't remember. I didn't see a lot of laughs in this trailer. This looked like even the music and everything they were going for gritty.
This is going to be going to be more in the vein of Winter Soldier than say Thor Ragnarok.
Well, but even Winter Soldier had a lot. Well, no, they had a little humor, maybe not, but is that what we're getting here?
Well, it's like we get the the little scene with Nick Fury and Maria Hill in the bar, and she goes, "I've been trying to contact you for months. This is the one where you don't send a call waiting, or send a voicemail,
right?"
And it's like so there's a little bit of levity, but there's not going to be a lot. I love the idea that it's it's Nick Fury and Rhodey and a handful of people that have been behind the scenes that we haven't seen a whole lot. Coulson's in it, right. So I'm excited for it, but it's not the thing I'm most excited for.
Okay, yeah, because I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. We'll see.
The thing I'm most excited for, and I know this probably doesn't do anything for you, Joe, and that's Werewolf by Night.
There we go.
I'll lay on the table.
There we go.
Now, this is one of Alan's favorite Marvel properties, and not just because of lycanthropy. Alan loves the idea of the horror comics from Marvel back in those days.
I don't remember that at all. So.
Oh, my
Werewolf
gosh.
by Night, Blade. These are all things that were just a little outside of the box. And what we've seen from these guys so far is that I don't know if the movie will be in the same style, but it's a special Halloween thing that they're doing that's for Disney Plus, and they've done it to look like an old style monster movie with the cigarette burns and the film and everything.
That's right. I did see the black and white. Okay, I forgot that's what I watched because I wasn't even thinking of it as a Marvel property. So I was thinking of that's right. That one did catch my interest.
And the fun part with this is they've got it set up kind of like the the old Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
One of you is a murderer.
Right.
You know, it's like 10 Little Indians.
I'm gonna connect it a different way. If you've been to a convention ever, somebody late night on either Friday night or Saturday night will set up a game of Ultimate One. Are you a werewolf?
Yes.
Which this is being done in that same kind of style. All these monster hunters, and one of them amongst them is the werewolf.
Yes.
It looked a little gory for a Marvel thing.
Looked a little gory for a Disney thing.
Yeah, is that just
All right,
a lot of...
we're talking about the same film that shoots the same company that shoots everybody's mother.
Yeah, but
we don't
I
see
think they show the
they don't
blood
show
and
that
guts
much
of it.
blood, and that's
Yeah.
that's just in the trailer.
It's a werewolf movie, guys. You know, man, they're going to bring out Man-Thing, and let's face it, his superpower is if it knows fear, it burns at the hands of Man-Thing.
Yes. But we don't talk about Man-Thing here.
Yep.
It's our Bruno.
What would get me more interested is this going to be okay? You know, I keep always mentioning how this interconnected stuff I feel like is a handicap for Marvel. Can we get some just individual stories? Would this werewolf thing be an individual one?
This can easily be a standalone.
Okay, good.
But that's not to say that some of these characters who are introduced in that won't show up later. Because I will guarantee you that somewhere in there you're going to meet Elsa Bloodstone. And
she's there.
And she's going to have to show up in Blade or something like that.
Yes.
That's okay. I just mean like an interconnected story because then I feel like
you don't need to know what happened through all of Infinity War in order to know what's going on in Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
And that's just the first of what they're saying is going to be many Marvel-based holiday specials that are coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah, I gotcha. So what else? What else did we learn?
Well, I'm going to give you a bit of sad news.
Okay.
We did learn that there is a sequel in the works to why can't I think of the name of it right now? It's Joe's favorite Pixar movie.
Oh, Inside Out?
Inside Out. They're doing a sequel to Inside Out.
Inside Out. Okay.
But it's getting, it's not going to include any of the original cast.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. You know, sequels always make me, and especially when you get what I consider, there's a couple of Pixar movies I consider masterpieces. Yeah. Cars is one of them. The first Cars. Inside Out is
I don't
another.
need an Inside Out sequel. I don't need an Up sequel.
Yeah.
You know, there are certain movies that should end where they end.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye out because, man, next week I can't wait because we'll be into our first episode of Andor, and I can't wait for Tales of the Jedi.
That's not that far away. I also think it's next week. I think Max is going to take us in for an anime dive.
Yeah, what do you got, Max? Because let's tease that a little next week.
Well, in honor of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 6 was released recently.
Right.
The second part of Part 6 was released recently, and I wanted to do a deep dive into Hirohiko Araki, the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and some of his classical inspiration for his art style, and because it's a pretty famous manga with now 120 million copies sold.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
I will say the art is really interesting. His style is it is bizarre, but I want
to tease that in the next couple of weeks we are going to do a deep dive on the Munsters in celebration of the new Rob Zombie Munster film being released on Netflix.
Yeah, there's no reason, and like we say, folks, it's very important, and we're not exaggerating. Get over to Geek Tank Radio's Facebook page, join the community, and stay tuned because we have some pretty big announcements coming up. Can't do them now though, you guys. We're out of time, and plus,
the band's striking up.
So it's time to get out of here. Come and see us at the Cooper Young Festival. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Alan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
I am Brennan Olmsted. Starting to feel the sun out here in Cooper Young.